So here's the scenario. You finally reached out to influencers. You finally got some to answer to you. You've sent some products or gave access to some services, and you got ghosted. And maybe you're upset about that. Maybe you're not sure what happened. Anyways, in any case, you would like to fix that. Maybe you're a small business owner, maybe you're a marketer in charge of influencer marketing for your company, and now you're thinking, oh shit, I have to fix this somehow. And influencer ghosting happens more than you know. It's actually something that we in the industry take into account when sending emails and sending products because we know there's always going to be what we call a drop off rate. No matter if it's a paid or a barter collaboration, these things always happen. Usually, it highly depends on the business model, on the business, but usually I do take like a 10% baseline where I'm kind of expecting those people to drop off. In this video, I'm going to give you a few solutions, a few options, a few approaches that you can use if this happens to you. And it will probably happen at some point, so better be prepared for it. One thing I recommend you do really before you reach out to anyone is be very thorough with your research. So do your research and really look at that person's socials and really look at how they interact with people and try to kind of, I don't know how to put this, but assess how reliable they will be when receiving your products and services. One of the red flags that you can look for, in my experience, is very short answers sent from the phone, where you see like send from my iPhone or stuff like that. I can very confidently say that in more than 50% of the cases where that influencer responded with very short emails sent from their phone, they wanted to know about budget or payment right away. They said yes very quickly. Things went downhill, and we had to kind of chase them in order to post. Those were a lot of cases where we get ghosted. There are always exceptions to this rule, but just keep in mind, like keep an eye out for possible red flags, especially when you first interact with that person, and just get a feel, I don't know how else to put it, of kind of how they react or act in their communication. Also, a big thing that I look at is how they interact with their community. So if you see an account that's just like, has lots and lots of posts, never replying to comments, writing, I don't know, very short captions usually, that can also be a red flag. Not always, so this is not general, but it can be one of the things I'm looking at. Now, when you're reaching out and when you're talking to people, try to be genuine and thoughtful in your communication. Just give what you want to receive. So there are a lot higher chances, especially if you're doing barter campaigns or if you're sending influencers product to post, you will get a much better result if you genuinely care, basically. So that's what everyone wants at the end of the day, is show some interest in that person and not just, oh, I'm sending you a product, now you got to post because, well, that was our deal, and that's, make it very transactional. In short, if you show them you care, they will care back. Now, I am bringing the concept of consistency again because a lot of times, right, you contacted the influencers, you talk to them, everything's good, everything's fine. Maybe shipping takes a while if you have a physical product. So maybe it's not like immediate, not in like a few business days, maybe it takes a while. So what I've seen a lot of people is that they kind of drop off. They're like, oh yeah, whenever they receive it, and then we'll pick it up from there. That's a mistake. That gets you ghosted very, very fast. And not because of like any malicious intent, but because influencers are a highly sought out people. That's just what it is. So in the time when you have that product and you're trying to send them like whatever product, right, and you're trying to figure out shipping and all that, and you're not, you go radio silent, there's a very high chance that a lot of other people are going to contact that person, a lot of other people are going to offer to send products in, a lot of people will offer paid collaborations and stuff like that, and you're simply going to get lost in all that. So keep that in mind and be consistent and keep them updated. Don't go crazy with like updating them on every step, but just say, hey, just wanted to let you know, the package is on its way, or here's like a tracking number, we're preparing your order, let me know if you need anything else, let me know if you need, just like interact a little bit, be a little bit engaging, and not just, you know, forget about the person from the moment they say yes to your product. Show some love on social media. This is such a simple step, but a lot of brands I see that they're very apprehensive. They're like, no, we don't want to like posts from influencers. We want to like, there's like this weird approach of like, we want to like posts that are related to our topic, and just like, what? No, dude, what? Oh, we will only like posts from our customers, or not even that. So I see a lot of, even in their social media strategy, I see a lot of brands skipping this kind of interaction strategy, this kind of engaging their community, which is very weird to me. But show that person, if you feel like that person has kind of forgotten about you, or the influencer is not as responsive as they were before, go on social media and show them some love. Not, don't be, again, do not be a stalker. Do not go overboard with like liking every single of their posts since 2017. Do not do like the stalker X thing, okay? So just go on social media, interact on some of their content, go into their stories, right? Watch their stories, make sure you appear there in their stories. A lot of people check who watches their stories. Give a reaction to a story once in a while, a comment, but not weird and cringy comments like a lot of brands. Check your DMs, hey beautiful, we have something we want to say. No. Just comment on the content, on the post, just be thoughtful, right? And you will see that that person is going to remember. It's bit by bit by bit. It's like the little details that you sprinkle along the way in the influencer journey that will make all the difference, because that's how you build a relationship. And that's what we want. We want to build a relationship. This is also related to the next tip I have for you, and that's use other communication channels. So don't limit yourself only to email. Email is great. I actually do prefer email because it's easier for me. Some people say, well, it's more professional on email. To some extent, yes. I'm not gonna disagree with that. But it's also a lot easier because of the way, an email inbox is organized. It's a lot harder for stuff to slip through the cracks than it is, in an inbox, in an Instagram inbox where anything can happen. So, what I'm trying to say is diversify a little bit so that if your emails go unanswered, or if something happens and they don't receive your emails, you can always go on a different route and send a DM on a different platform. Again, do it with good measure, common sense. Do not go overboard with, because it's the easiest way to turn an influencer off from ever working with you and ever responding to your things ever again. Also, exercise a good amount of understanding, because creators are people too. They also have lives. They also have, things that come in the way. It's not always just like content, churning content out. Maybe they have like situations you're not aware of. Maybe something happened. I've had a lot of situations where people, they just stop responding, and then I sent like a few emails. Again, it is also important to know when to stop. What I take it as a good base is 5 to 7 emails. If in those 5 to 7 emails that person has not responded, you stop. Okay, put them on hold for a couple months, maybe even more, and then go back and say, hey, listen, I don't know, I don't know if you remember me, but we talked a few months. Could we pick that up, or what happened, or how's your life? Just basically. But I've had people just not responding to emails for a while, and then I put them on hold, and then they came back and they were like, oh, sorry, I just had a baby. So I wasn't able. I got your product, I love it, I'm gonna post about it, but I had a baby. in the meantime, so I couldn't answer. Be mindful of the fact that these people also have a life. Now, I want to add just a few more tips and tricks in case you have an email tracking and you see them opening your emails but they're not responding. What should you do? Right, I send them a product, or I gave them access to a digital product or a service that I offer, and maybe they tried it, maybe they didn't, I don't know, but they're opening my emails, they're seeing my emails, they're reading them, but they're not answering. What should I do? Now, in the situation is, again, craft really, really thoughtful follow-ups. Don't just go into, I see this a lot, again, going brands being like, hey, did you receive the product? Did you say, when are you going to post? Are you posting about it? What are you doing? No, no. Be thoughtful and say, hey, notice on the tracking number, you received the product. Is everything okay? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Which leads me to kind of like the second tip is asking for feedback. Ask for feedback. What did you think about the product? A really clever way of asking for feedback is also introducing kind of or referencing customer testimonials and say, a lot of people say that, I don't know, this cup is like the perfect size for them, right? They love the size, it's just like right for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever. What do you think? Do you agree with that? Like, is it a good size for you? Just one way of putting it. So that kind of increases your chances of getting a response, because people want to be helpful, they want to give feedback usually. Also, what you can do is you can also kindly mention the agreement. So this is what I do with paid collaborations. Paid influencers ghost as well. If you have a paid collaboration, it's always worth mentioning that you want to pay people as soon as possible. And this is something that I've used a lot in the past, and this is something that actually it really works, even if to just get a response from that person. So if you sign an agreement, and which I highly recommend you to do, especially on, I mean, on paid collaborations, and even if you're doing barters but the product or service is high value, I highly suggest you sign an agreement. If you mention the agreement, if you have any deadlines or any special mentions of timelines, then you can mention that and say, hey, we agreed on this timeline. How's it going? How are we doing with that? Do you think we'd be able to do it on time? You can also reference the fact that, you have limited calendar spots, because even as a brand, you do have like some sort of a schedule when it comes to your influencer marketing calendar, so you can mention that. And of course, you can mention the payment. Like, I know we agreed on, I don't know, $600, and I want to pay you as soon as possible, because payment on our side also takes like maybe 7 days. So I want to understand if I want to understand how to like pay you faster, if that makes sense. Something like that. One other thing that you can also do, it's very simple, but it does work, is just asking what happened. Just ask them, hey, I noticed that you're opening my emails. You can say that. It might, to people who don't know about email tracking, it might come off as creepy, but you can always explain and say, hey, I've noticed I get notifications when you open my email. So I noticed you open my email, but you're not responding. And I was wondering, did I do something? Is there something wrong with the product? Is there something wrong with it? It would really help getting feedback, even getting feedback on our interaction, even getting feedback on our product. If you don't like it, if you genuinely think that it's not a fit, it's fine, it's okay, but just let me know. So this is something I've done. I usually do it as a last resort, when I really want to get in touch with that person and I really understand why are you ghosting me after I've sent you the product. Because sometimes there will be times when the influencer doesn't like the product at all, and they're like, I really don't want to promote this, but I also don't want to hurt the brand's feelings. I want to maintain a good relationship with them, and they're just gonna be like, I'm just not gonna respond anymore. Again, if you don't get any response after 5 to 7 emails, 7 being like I'm also counting like maybe the reminders and saying, hey, I'm just following up to see if you got a chance to see my previous email. Let me know how your life's going and stuff like that. I would put a pause on it, put put like a pause on it. In our CRMs, we usually have like statuses. We put a status and say, I don't know, we either blacklist people who never respond ever again, or we just put them on hold. So we put them on hold for a couple months and then we reach out again. And again, always be super, 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 super nice. Even if you're pissed, even if you send a product, I understand you're a small business owner, you send a product, it costs you, you paid for the shipping, you went through all that, and this person has completely ghosted you. I get that you might be pissed, especially if it's a high like ticket item. This is why you have to be very careful who you send a product to, especially if it's a high item, if it's a high value item, like, sign a contract, sign an agreement. Okay, I hope this was really helpful to you. I hope you got like some information and you have some hope on reaching the people who ghosted you. Or if you haven't started with influence marketing yet, at least you know what to do if this ever happens to you. Now, if you enjoy this video and you'd like me to do more of these, which I will, make sure to subscribe to this channel. This is a channel that's going to be all about influencer marketing all the way. If you want other people that have the same problems and have the same questions as you do about influencer marketing to see this content, make sure to like it as well, because that helps. And finally, if you have any questions or any concerns or just stuff that you'd like me to make content on regarding influencer marketing, leave it down below in the comments and I will make sure to take a look at it and take it into consideration. Bye.